All right, Georgia with a 37-10 win over the Razorbacks. Very sloppy and bad at the beginning of this game for sure. And as the game went on, you could see who the better team was if you couldn't see that immediately. Um, got some questions to answer at quarterback, and I'm not sure when that will happen. It seems to me like right now you would probably want to go with Stetson during practice with the ones at the beginning of this week. If JT Daniels is cleared, maybe that's another situation. I don't know. And I think you don't shut the door on Dwan Mathis, but it was not working when Mathis was in there for whatever reason. I don't know if he was kind of freaking out or in the moment or sort of what happened there. I mean, you could see him in space. He was very impressive, but I thought he was holding the ball too long now that I think about it. Sitting there watching the game, and stuff was there to me. I'd like to go back and watch it on TV as well, but it did seem like Georgia could score, but they weren't. And not only that, but they weren't moving the ball. And so that's how you got to a 7-5 halftime. It was nearly a 7-2 halftime, which would have been even worse. Georgia's defense was solid. At the end of the day, Zamir had 71 yards. It didn't seem or feel like it because Georgia had such a hard time running the ball at the beginning of this game. They wound up with 121 yards in the game rushing. But to me, there were some players that flashed. I mean, obviously, George Pickens. He made that one play look so easy. It looked like he was tackled. Scores a touchdown. Keiris Jackson is definitely here to play. The special teams, just period, were deadly. And Arkansas, that really cost them. And again, I'm going off the top of my head here because I don't have statistics, but the block kick, 2 converted field goals, the kickoff return, the block punt, I should say, 2 field goals, the kickoff returns, the punt returns. It was, I mean, Georgia, that's where they're going to make people pay. But you need easier points. You need cheap points. And they did not get those tonight. They pretty much had to earn most of their 37 points. Of course, one of those touchdowns coming from Eric. Who was it? Was it Eric Stokes that had the interception? Yeah, it was Eric with the 38-yard interception return. Richard with 2 interceptions. I mean, Felipe Franks is probably glad to never see Georgia again. He really had a hard time. But Georgia, I think there's 2 ways to look at this, and there probably can both be true at the same time. Number 1, you got to figure out what's going on at quarterback at some point here. Number 2, your team is good enough that you can go to a former walk-on and score 37 points on offense. It's both of those things. Now, if your former walk-on is your guy moving forward, they still need to play better than they did. But you have to wonder if the experience mattered a lot because it seems like it did because it did not seem like Dwan Mathis was comfortable for whatever reason. And, you want space and time. You want to have all those things going for you when you're playing a sport. And Mathis had time, and a lot of times he had space, but the offense just wasn't clicking. You want to do the easy open pass, as we used to say in basketball, the easy open pass. Take what you're given. It was there. And when Stetson came in, you saw that. I mean, the thing that changed the game to me was the 2-point conversion. So, that was in the third quarter, if I recall correctly. And here comes Georgia trying to get back into this game after getting down 10-5 in the third quarter, halfway through the third quarter. And then, boom, within 4 minutes, the game is over. I mean, I don't even know if it was, it was something like that. So Pickens the 20-yarder and then Stetson on the conversion. Stetson's quicker than he is fast. Sometimes it seems like it's there for him more in the run game. I do wish that he would go quicker in the run because he can run. And then just, 20-10, the game was over. To some degree, it felt like the game was over when Arkansas did not have the lead any further. But, and then they just piled on them. And that's what you want. If you're going to be a team that ends people, that's what you got to do. Looking globally today, LSU loses. I can't say that I'm stunned. Auburn and Kentucky, they look like fighters, but maybe not explosive teams. If Georgia had played Auburn today, I'm not sure that they would have scored 37, but they play them next week, and it could be a very different situation. The other thing, too, though, is this may have been the Saturday where if you're in the top 10, you just want to win and go home because Oklahoma losing, LSU losing, Texas surviving, barely. I mean, the Big 12 looks terrible. They do not look like they're going to get someone in the playoff. At this point, I mean, who would Texas's good win be over? An overtime win in Texas Tech, beating Oklahoma? What does that get you right now? So the Gators have put out that they're going to be really good on offense. And they looked really good on offense. Their defense did not look good. You can't give up that many points. Georgia's offense looked bad. They scored 37. When you look at Alabama, they look like they're putting it on Mizzou pretty good. Texas A&M is kind of goofing around with Vanderbilt. It seems like it's one of those weeks where you just want to probably get the W and go home because style points are tough to come by right now. I mean, even the most if you want to call it dominating game of the day, which would have been, I'm assuming would have been the Gators, you can't allow that many points, man. I mean, that's just not going to work. So I think that Georgia, you win the game and you move the next week because next week and moving forward, this game may have nothing to do with the rest of the season. Now, if it does, that means you have a real problem on offense. But the fact of the matter is that this could change dramatically this week coming up if JT Daniels is cleared and they go with him, or if Stetson plays the whole game. No matter what, the game against Auburn will be different because you're not. I mean, it's hard for me to believe they're going to start Dwan Mathis. That's the thing to me that is disappointing because I think that when you see what he can do with his legs in particular, he's gone. But he's got to be comfortable playing quarterback, and that means getting the ball out. Burton is good. George Pickens is good. They've got to get the ball to the playmakers more often. It was very jammed in the middle. As soon as Stetson gets in there, it seemed like the run game started going. Maybe it was because they were getting the ball to the perimeter. I don't know, but it started moving more. It was similar to the way that Georgia struggled against Appalachian State to start 2017. All of a sudden, Jake Fromm comes in and they score. So was it all on Dwan Mathis? No. I mean, the offense played just not good, period. And the offensive line got beat up and bullied. That can't happen. I mean, these guys are high-level recruits. They were not ready to play today, generally speaking, I don't think. And, that's not good. I mean, these games out here, I will say, sort of way out here, they're not ideal for, sort of hyping yourself up and getting ready to play. But if you are supposed to be the number 4 team in the country and coming in the next week, they'll be number 3. Auburn, this will be a top 10 matchup. You need to be ready to play and get going. And that's up to the coaches. It's up to the kids too, but that's up to the coaches making certain that the guys are taking advantage of their day. And, I say it's up to the coaches, but the kids got to do it too. I mean, it all works together. And I think if you saw Georgia go down and score in the first quarter, it would have been a very different game. They couldn't do that, and that's why it was such a bad start. So I'm not sure that you can – I think there are 2 things that you can definitely take out of this for sure. One, the special teams look a lot better. You should not mess with Georgia's special teams. Just don't do it. Secondly, the defense looks as good as usual, and they just look legit. And finally, I said 2 things that I'm not sure I know yet a lot about the quarterback situation, only because it seems to be very fluid right now. I mean, would JT be the starting quarterback right now if he were healthy? A lot of people would say yes, but I'm not sure if I know the answer to that. And it's just going to play out that way for Georgia this fall. As Nick Saban would say, it is what it is. From Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Dean Legge signing off for Dog Posts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you over on the website.